What is the destroyer of all life? What crumbles mountains through erosion into dust? What dries up, will eventually dry up every lake, every riverbed on the planet, evaporating into mist, into nothingness? What is the destroyer of all planets? What is the destroyer of every planet throughout all known space? Will wink out every fucking star in the observable and unobservable universe? What will cast everything we know in existence into darkness for all infinity? We're talking about, on tonight's episode, that very thing. Time! Dun, dun, dun! Yes, we're talking about the passage of time.
What up, y'all? Violent J, the Duke of the Wicked here. This is the Bruce Brothers Podcast. And you are?
Robert the Bruce, a.k.a. Jumpsteady.
And you, my friend?
The manservant Jeeves.
The Bruce Brothers Podcast is back for our third ever episode. We still don't have an intro, but next week we plan on debuting our brand new show intro. Next week.
Nice.
That's right. And you can expect technical difficulties tonight as we work our way through this freshness. I want y'all to follow me on Instagram at violentj.icp. And you?
At the 24K Lion.
That's it? The 24K Lion?
That's 24K Lion.
And Rob is not on Instagram.
I don't have any social medias. It's
right.
a life choice that I choose, and I'm very happy with that decision. It's caused me no ill will, if you will. It's brought me happiness and peace to my heart. Okay.
Now, I will tell you this right off the rip, ladies and gentlemen. This subject is a tearjerker for me, Jeeves. It is. A long time ago, we were in France, of all places, Rob, and I went to see Titanic. Titanic had been out for a minute. It'd probably been out a year, but it was the only American movie that was playing at the theater that was in English. So we decided to see Titanic. And I'll tell you right now, that movie put me into a legit panic attack, okay? Because the subject is time, okay? And how you have that beautiful hottie that stars in the movie, but you see her in the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie where she's an old ass lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. You see her all fresh in the movie.
You
She's
see her in
all
her
vibrant,
shining
beautiful.
prime, her shiny prime in the movie.
You see her naked, and you're all excited to see her naked.
Everything.
Oh my God. It's like
She's a hot French girl at one point.
Just so fine. And then time. Time destroys everything. There's literally nothing time doesn't destroy. Where do you even begin when we're talking about time, Rob?
Right.
Where does one even try to begin? This subject could be a series, a whole season, a fucking marathon of seasons, all on this one subject, because nothing is more valuable than time, and nothing is more precious than time. And it's like when you punish a man in this country, what do you do with them, Jeeves? You take away their time.
Their time.
You make them sit out their time, Rob, where they cannot have fun during that time. They cannot progress during that time. That's how valuable time is. If you do a really big crime, you get a lot of your time jacked. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because time is all we actually have. It's more valuable than anything, and it's extremely important on how you spend your time. Because if you spend it negatively and you spend it shitty-wise, all you're doing is wasting time. You know what I'm saying? We have a song about time, I believe it's called Time. And it's also a tearjerker because when you listen to the lyrics, it's so much to take in. It's so much to comprehend, you know. I myself, you know, I grew up watching pro wrestling. These guys were in their fucking prime. They were strong, they were fast, they were handsome and beautiful and all things, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're dead. Most of them are dead. Because time. Rob, talk.
Okay, so look, the perception of time that we have, I just want to say is really askew, and it's really different for everybody. Like how when you talk about the flow of time, like whether it's moving fast or slow, it's all about based on your perception. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about the overall perception of time, like in our minds, right? So the woolly mammoths roamed the earth when the pyramids were built in 1560 BC.
Allegedly.
Woolly mammoths still existed. They were still on the planet roaming around, okay? In fact, they were still in existence up to 1,000 years past that point. Okay, so that's like our perception of time. Like when you think of the pyramids, you think of the dinosaurs and the woolly mammoths and all that. You think of that as like 50, like crazy long ago, which it was. But there's still like this construed perception of time throughout reality. All right, let me bring up the oldest living person right now, Inna Lucas. Okay, he was born in 1908. He's 116 years old.
Born in 1908.
When the signing of the Constitution happened, right, to when he was born, now think about this for a minute. When the signing of the Constitution happened to when he was born was about the same time from when he was born till now. You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
They're both about the same distance, 116 years apart. So when you think about something like the signing of the Constitution, in your mind, you're like, that's crazy fucking far ago. Like, that's like many, many lifetimes ago. No, it's not actually that far. But in our perception of time, just because it's something we never seen or done, in our mind, we think it's like light years away.
The signing of the Constitution is only a mere 2 old-ass men
right
away.
away. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's a trip to think about. You know what I mean? Okay, so Will Smith, right now, this is another thing, I'm just the perception of time, is 11 years older than James Avery was, who played Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So you know how when Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's the young kid coming into the home, and the father, Will Smith is now 11 years older than that character, than that father was in the show. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about, the perception of time. Like to us, like when you think of that, you're like, oh, well, he's Will Smith, like he's forever young or something. No, man, he's like older than the father was on the show. Okay, now here's something.
Yeah, but he's got those special Illuminati pills that I'm assuming they got to keep their flesh from aging and shit. You know what I mean? But that's just speculation on my behalf.
The JFK assassination, okay? The JFK assassination was in 1963. 30 years later, Jurassic Park, the movie, came out.
Wow.
30 years after that is basically where we are now. So again, when you think of the JFK assassination, in our minds, right, we're thinking that's like lifetimes ago. It's not, though. It's like right there. It's just that because it didn't happen in our lifetime.
So from the JFK assassination to Jurassic Park is only 30 years?
It's 30 years difference. 30 years time.
And we've been
passed.
rapping 33 years.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like time, our perception of time, the point I'm trying to make is the perception of time is like a skew, right? Like when you think of things in the past, if it didn't happen in your lifetime, you're like, oh, it's fucking crazy far away. I don't know shit about that. Like that's like eons and eons ago, but it's not. Like the JFK assassination in the grand scheme of things just fucking happened.
You know
what I mean?
As a wrestling fan, I used to think of everything that happened before I was born. I didn't give a fuck about it. I used to think, I don't give a fuck about that old black and white shit. That old wrestling shit. Back at black and white fucking, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older and I started to understand how long 10 years is, and how long 15 years is, and how long 20 years is, and 25 years, I began to appreciate the stuff before I died, Rob, before I lived, because I realized it wasn't that long ago.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a little kid, I couldn't care less.
Right.
But the older I got, the more the understanding of time I had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why I went back and eventually studied it. And it's the same thing with music, too. I used to not care about anything going on in music before I was born. I thought it was totally irrelevant. It was so old it didn't matter. That's because I was 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now, when you get some life in you and you live some years, you understand the concept more of what time is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So our perception of time, like let's look at like short-term memory, okay? Like short-term perception of time. Like short-term perception of time, like if you're having fun, time is fucking flowing. And it's really, like we don't have any clock in our brain telling us what time it is, right? You can kind of hopefully like guess a little bit how much time has passage, but there's no eternal, like we're not robots. We don't have anything in our brain telling us what time, how much time has passed. So if you're chilling at home playing a video game, you're having so much fun, you're not focused on the nothingness around you, right? You're having fun, so time flows like really fast. Now let's say you're in a prison cell with nothing to do, right? All you have to do is focus on the nothingness of time around you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, time creeps fucking by, like so slowly,
Well,
right?
I'll tell you this, man. You know, I've thought of this a lot. There's a price to pay with happiness, okay? If you're doing what you love for a living, okay? Because most people work a job they don't like, and you know they're not doing what they wish they could be doing. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality for most people, right? Okay. When I'm asked what it's like to be doing what I love, you know, I sometimes get negative because I tell them the truth. There is a price to pay with being happy. There's a massive price to pay. It's probably the most biggest ticket you could ever pay, Rob. And that is when you're happy in life, time flies by. Okay? Just like what you just said.
Right.
I swear to you, gatherings come every month. That's what it seems like. Another gathering every month. And that's a year of my life.
Right.
I got birthdays tripping over each other. You know, like, oh, it's such a trip. Before we just went out on before the Train and Terror tour, when we booked the Train and Terror tour, I said to myself, dang, that's like 4 months, 3 months ahead. I wonder if I'm still going to be alive when that happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's so long ago.
Right.
I mean, that's so long. I wonder where I'm going to be at in my life when that tour comes up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that feeling and that day I was thinking that literally feels like yesterday. And that tour ended months ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is a hefty price to pay. It really is.
I'm about to fuck you up, though, possibly. Maybe we can debate about this one. Okay, so do you remember as a child how full your life seemed to be? How slow time seemed to pass? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can remember so much as a child, like because everything was first time.
It's like
know?
I just said, it's you haven't grasped time yet.
Yeah.
So as a child,
So what's happening?
a year seems like a decade.
What's happening as a child? You're experiencing all these new experiences, and that's the key: new experiences. Your first love, your first pet, your first trip, your first television show, your first video game. Everything is so new. And so it all sticks out in your mind as memories that are being cataloged in your mind. So as you think back on that year, you have so many memories cataloged in your mind, new, fresh memories. It seems the perception of your life is that it's full. You're living a full life, okay? Now, as we age, time speeds up. And I know you know I know everybody that's like older ninja, like 30 and up, knows what I'm talking about. The older you get, the faster time seems to flow. And that's the bitch right there. Time is always flowing, okay? And the reason for this, right, is because when we get older, nothing is new. There's very little new experiences to be had anymore. Stuff does not catalog in your mind anymore as new memories, right? People get stuck living the same day over and over and over again. You go to work, you come home, you watch TV, you jack off, you go to bed, right?
Speak for yourself, brother.
I'm just saying. Over and over again, the same routine. And so when you think back, like a year of that, right? A year of that, and you think back on what you did the year before, man, that time fucking flew by. Like, damn, that time flew by. It seemed like a fucking blink of a second. It's gone. What happened? You're trying to remember what you did during that year, and you have no memory because you're stuck on the same page, living that same day over and over again. It all blurs together in the one fucking day in your memory because there is no memories sticking out. And that's why, unequivocally, without contestation, you have to have as many experiences as you possibly can.
We say that to the blue in the face. Experiences are worth more than anything. We tell people that all the time. Like when we try to get people to come to the gathering, they think we're trying to sell them a ticket. Fuck your ticket.
Trying to sell you an experience.
We're trying to sell you an experience you will never, ever forget. Even when you're old and fucking gray, you will remember that experience because you've never been there. And you will have an experience. How much our experience is worth, Rob? That's why they're charging so much to take ninjas up into space. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an experience you'll never fucking forget. So being gravitationally liftless, you know, light weightless and all that floating and shit. How you gonna forget that?
You're on a fucking road, right? You've been born, you're motherfucking gonna die. That's the beginning and the end of your time on this planet. You're on a road of time and you're traveling along. How many fucking landmarks are you gonna slow down and admire? Or are you just fucking passing up all that fucking glory and just going right to the fucking grave as quick as you can? But the more landmarks along that road that you stop and admire and experience, the slower that journey is gonna be to the end of your fucking time. And that's what we're talking about.
I wanna tell a story that no juggalos know. All right? No juggalos know the story because we've never told it publicly. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But about 2 years ago, I almost died twice. Okay? I had pneumonia. That's right. And I was decided, I didn't know I had pneumonia yet. I didn't know what was wrong with me. But I decided I had so little energy, I had to drive myself to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? So it took me 2 hours time, Rob, to put my shoes and socks on because I had so little energy.
Right.
It took 2 hours time. Like the sun was literally, it was like 2 in the afternoon when I started and the sun had started going down when I finished. You know what I'm saying? But like, I got the shoes and socks on and I miraculously made it all the way to the front porch. And then when I saw my truck, I said, there's no way I'm gonna make it there.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna die if I try to make it. So I had to sell myself out and call 911. And the ambulance came, put me in the ambulance, and I passed out in the ambulance. And when I woke up, Rob, 6 days had passed. 6 days.
Right.
And I thought I had passed out in the ambulance got to the hospital and just woke up.
You thought it was like 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I thought it was like 10 or 5 minutes, exactly.
crazy.
6 days had gone by.
Right.
And this happened to me twice because I left the hospital early before I should have left. And I thought I was fine, but the pneumonia came back, and the same exact story happened again. I was on life support for another 6 days. But that's not the point. The point is time is very interesting because life goes on with or without you, okay? If I would have died when I died or whatever happened to me, if I would have stayed dead, put it that way, everything would have been back to normal right now. And I just wouldn't have been here. But time goes on. Time doesn't stop for nobody. Time doesn't wait for anybody. No matter what you got going on, you could be having the livest, hypest fucking party of your life. Time rolls at the same pace, Rob.
Yep.
You could be doing time, wanting time to go by quicker. You could be stuck in a jail cell for 90 days and you want those days to go by quicker. Time maintains that fucking big, it's like a giant iron ball just rolling.
I bet you when, going back to the perception of time, when you were trying to put those shoes on, it probably seemed forever, right? Like,
Yeah, well, it didn't seem that long because I was trying, I was working on something,
Right.
getting those shoes on.
well, there's the, you know, like Einstein once said, if you put your hand on a hot stove, it'll seem like an hour, you know? Spend an hour with an attractive girl, it'll seem like a minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you're in pain, you're so focused on time, everything slows down.
Who said that?
Einstein.
He was a pervert.
But you know what I mean? Like it goes back to like that perception of time is what I'm getting at.
Man, the perception of time, I don't even think we have a perception of time. We don't even understand time, man.
Well, you know, like
I was gonna,
when I was doing go ahead, what do you say?
live chat, diabetic dab bag says time is a measurement of atoms as they grow and decay.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, no.
All right, so like when I did my chaos theory album, I did a whole thing about the chaos theory, and it talks about that, like living your life to the fullest, having as many experiences as you can. Sometimes you gotta just say fuck it and do something. Like, you know, it's never gonna be the right time to take a trip or you want to take or do something you want to talk to that girl or guy you want to talk to. Sometimes you just gotta throw all caution to the wind and just do something to get out of that rut of living that same page day in and day out. Like when you get to your end of your life and you go up to Shangri-La heaven and you're looking at your book of life, do you want that thin little fucking book because you live the same day over and over again and it's the same page, it says repeat times 10,000 times?
Right.
Or do you want that big ass book of life telling your life story, all the shit you accomplished, everything you've done, all the friends you made,
All the experiences
all the
you had.
experiences you had, so that motherfuckers are like, damn, this motherfucker lit. You know, when you're that old man on the porch in the twilight of your days and someone asks you, hey, you know, they're looking up to you, your grandson or granddaughter, hey, what have you done? What kind of stories you got? Oh, nothing really. Or you got a couple days
You know,
for me to regale you with my fucking legacy?
I always say this. I say this since I was young, and now it's more relevant because I am an old man. But I always say, when I'm an old man, right, I want to be sitting on my porch, and some kid comes walking across my lawn, and I'm like, hey, man, don't be walking on my grass. You know what I mean? And he's like, fuck you, old man, right? And I say, you're right, I'm old, you're young, you know? I'm on my way down off the hill, and you're just starting up it. You know what I mean? But check this out. Let me see you freak your time on this planet the way I freaked mine. You get it?
Yeah.
Let me see you take your given time, because we're all given time. We all get about the same amount of time. Some of us get cut short, of course. Some of us get cut insanely short, and it's terribly sad. You know what I mean? But for the most part, the general idea is we're all given this same amount of time, basically, and I'll tell that little young ass kid, let me see you school your time. Let me see you freak your time and make the best of your time the way I did, even though my time's over.
Right.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I freaked it.
Right.
So even to get to this age is a bonus. To even survive till you're old is a blessing.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So fuck you, little young ass bitch. Get off my grass before I kick that bitch ass.
You know, when you're young, too, I just want to point this out. When you're young, you're not really focused on time. You're not really focused on your death. You feel like you're going to fucking live forever. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know how I know this? Motherfuckers diss on motherfuckers when they're young. They diss old motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you old ass man, like a diss, you know? It's like, motherfucker, you don't think you're ever going to get there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone gets old. It's inevitable.
I remember seeing Chris Cornell, lead singer of Soundgarden, on an MTV interview. It was during MTV Music Awards, and the Rolling Stones were there. Okay? So the film went right from the Rolling Stones to Chris Cornell, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, he made this joke about the Rolling Stones being mad old. And he was like, now that we're done with oldies section of MTV or something like that, you know what I mean? Because this was like 94, right when his band was huge, you know?
Right.
And I remember how off-putting that was to me. Even as a youngster myself, I thought that wasn't cool. Mm-hmm. Because if you're lucky, you'll be doing what they did when you're at that age. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're fucking lucky. And now you look at it, the Rolling Stones are alive and he's dead. Right. You know, because that's what can happen. But it shows to me, it shows the immaturity and the ignorance when somebody young makes fun of somebody for being old. Mm-hmm. It shows the ignorance, right?
Yeah, like they don't have a perception of reality that one day they're gonna be old. Because time,
if they're lucky.
Because you age so slowly, it's not perceptible, right? Like you can't perceive your aging. Everybody's aging. Everybody's getting older every second. But it's so slow in your mind, you can't perceive it. So as a young person, you're like, I'm good.
Right.
Like, I got so much time. I'm going to be young forever. Look at these old-ass motherfuckers over here, you know? And they're just, like, looking at it, you know, thinking, like, oh, they're all old. Ugh. You know?
I remember, man, playing with my kids on the living room floor, right? When I was 39, Jeeves, playing with my kids on the living room floor was perfectly fine. It didn't hurt. It was fine. And then when I turned 40, okay, the next couple weeks, I turned 40, suddenly my knees hurt, my back hurt, and I couldn't read no more without my readers. This all happened when I turned 40.
2 weeks difference.
That's right.
That's crazy.
And I'll never forget that, man, because it didn't hurt at 39.
So I used to always take steps 2 at a time. I used to pride myself on that. Like, I'm a beast. Like, you know, I'm like in shape. Fuck these stairs. You know what I mean? I'm getting up these stairs twice as fast as everybody else. Now I'm like 1 at a time. When I mean 1 at a time, it's not that bad yet. But 1 at a time, like you take a step, put the other foot on the step, take another step, put the other.
Yeah. A half of 1 at a time.
I'm like, yeah, half a step at a time.
I remember I was just talking to you about this the other day, Rob.
Yeah.
There was a time I have this memory for some reason. We were in New York about to catch a flight back home. And we were at the airport, and they got those escalators you get on, their walkway escalators.
Oh, yep.
Because the hallway's so long, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, race me, Rob, because Rob was such an incredibly fast runner his whole life, you know? So Rob was on the fucking regular hallway, and I was on the treadmill. You know what I'm saying? The walkway. Yeah. So I had the extra speed of the treadmill, and I was running my fucking ass off on that treadmill, and Rob still beat me. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's funny now? is you look at it now, neither one of us even run 15 feet.
100%, yeah.
We don't run no more.
Oh man, you're gonna make me sad with all this.
We
shit.
don't run no more.
Man, I used to
At all, unless we're being chased.
I used to be top 10 at Fort Bragg when I was in the Army runner.
Right.
I was on a special running
Always had that
training
skill,
camp.
Rob. Since we were young, you've had that
And,
super speed
like,
running.
whenever we did our formation, like where our whole company would be walking in formation, I would take the guidon flag and run circles around the fucking formation the whole time.
Dang.
Like, you know what I mean? Now, like you said,
We don't run no more.
no, it'd be hard to fucking run, man. You get out of breath. You know what I'm saying? Like quick.
I'm gonna jump subjects a little bit here.
Yeah. Oh, but hold on. But I got more to say about the aging thing.
Okay.
But go ahead. You want to?
No, go ahead.
Can we
go
come
ahead.
back to it?
I mean, well, I figure it's gonna be a lot about aging in this.
Well, this
special.
one is. I'm about to tell y'all something. I'm just gonna give you a forewarning. What I'm about to tell you fucked me up. It fucked me up to this day. When I learned about it, I actually learned about it as an EMT, and it haunts me to this day. So if you don't want to hear something about aging, fucking turn off your monitor. go.
I knew this episode was gonna be tough.
Hey, go catch a quick snack because this shit fucked me up.
Go
man.
run your ass up those steps 2 at a time. Get you a snack.
All right, and I warned you. I fucking warned you. All right, so what I learned in EMT class, which has been verified since then, it was in our fucking EMT book, you know, that talked about everything. Okay, when you reach age 30, all right, that's when you start to die. Okay? And I mean that.
You
All right.
start to die the day you're born.
No, but I'm saying, listen to what I'm about to tell you. At age 30, that's when your youth is really gone, okay? Because your organs start to function 1% less effective for every year after age 30.
Dang, on your 30th birthday.
So
the
what I'm
beginning of the
talking
end.
about, when you're 50, right?
Easy.
Which is where we're at now. When you're 50, let's say age 50, all your organs, your heart, your liver, your fucking spleen, your kidneys, they're all operating at 80% effectiveness. Now, when you think about that, think about a fucking flat, like a tire, okay? A tire that's at 100%. You're fucking good, man. You're cruising down the road. It's all good. You're all happy and shit. The fucking indicator isn't going on your fucking car. That you got a flat, you know, a slightly less full tire. Now you think about that same tire at 80%, okay? The fucking indicator light is on. The car's sluggish. When you walk out to your car, you're like, oh, I gotta fill that up with fucking air. Except when you're fucking 50, you can't, motherfucker. You gotta ride out that fucking tire that's only gonna get less and less full of air to the fucking time when you fucking die.
We're like born as cars, okay? But we can't trade ourselves in for new ones.
Yep. No, you
Like
can't.
if
You
I was
can't
a
get
car,
new tire.
if I was a car, I would be a hoopty. I'm saying I was new at one time. You know what I mean?
Right.
My shit was slick at one time. It was fast. It was durable. My shit is a bucket now, Rob, and I can't do nothing. And it's just gonna become a worse and worse bucket as time goes by. I can't even get a tune-up. I might be able to tune up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You think of an engine at 80%, you would take it into the fucking shop, man, because it'd be making clanking noises. You know what I mean? It would just be starting up, shoo, finally. Fuck.
You know, but if you take it to the shop, Rob, it's just like if we took ourselves to the doctor. The doctor's gonna say the same thing the guy at the garage is gonna say. He's just gonna say, well, man, there's really nothing we can do for it. It's just getting old.
100%. That's what they tell you. That's what the doctors are gonna tell you.
It's
when you're
just getting
fucking
old. It's gonna make those noises.
Hey, man.
It's gonna have those clicks and bumps in it, man.
You're fucking old. It's just, hey, that knee you got.
It's an old ass
That
car.
bum knee you got. We can't do nothing. It's just how it is now. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, like, it's just. I'm sorry, man. I really am sorry to fucking bestow that knowledge upon you. But I just thought y'all should know, man, once you turn age 30, that's it. Youth is gone.
And what a
You're
weird,
going down from
Downhill from
what a
there.
strange thing it is. The okay, let me give you my philosophy. I always thought that we should have been born old and feeble, right? And we grow up and we get younger, right?
Benjamin Button
And we
style.
get born, I mean, we get to our prime when we're like 21. That's when we're the strongest, we look the best, we're the best on our game, we're the tightest at everything, and that's how we should go out. Because it's sad to see people wilt and die, you know? It should be, we get better and better and better, and then we die.
Well, you start off mad feeble, right?
And you end up mad
And then
feeble.
you get fresh, and then you end up
That's what I was
crazy
originally gonna
stale.
say. It's strange how we're born feeble and in need of help, in need of
Right.
care, and somebody taking care of us, right? And then we get stronger and better and fresher. Then we're killing it, right? And we're killing it. But then we return to that baby state again.
But it's worse though, because babies have a scent, and there's a like a natural desire to care and love babies, to protect babies.
Did you say babies have a scent?
They do.
So do old people.
Yeah, I know, but the baby's scent. They have a scent that like instills like the protective nature, right? Like it's a pleasant scent, right? Everything about babies is like, except for the crying and all that and the pooping and shit. But you want to protect the baby, right? It's ingrained in your DNA and your makeup to protect that baby. But when you get old, people don't want to fucking.
They don't want to fuck with you.
They don't want to fuck with you. You're no longer fresh. Like you're old. It's like, especially in America. It's not. This isn't true around the world, but in
in
America,
Japan,
in America, you're a burden now.
you're a nuisance if you're old. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, they want to put you in a home so you get the fuck out of everybody's way.
Because they,
You know what I'm saying?
They
Put 'em
don't
in-
have time for your ass. They're so busy doing every other little thing they got going on in their life. They don't got time to tack you on. Now they got to take care of you so many hours.
I've
a day.
always feared dying alone.
Yeah.
I've always feared dying alone. That's why it says on my forehead, underneath this paint, it says, "We'll never die alone." You know what I mean? I don't want to die alone, Rob.
Yeah.
And in this
No,
country,
no, yeah.
old people die alone. You know?
Not all. I'm just saying, like on average, a lot of ninjas do.
But you know the way the system is set up, it's like take the old people and put them in a home somewhere out of the way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Give them everything they need so they don't even have to leave that home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stay out of our fucking way, slow ass driving, walking ass slow people. Just put them out of the way. But in Japan, they revere the, oh, excuse me, I'm burping. In Japan, they revere the old people, Jeeves. In Japan, they respect the old people because they know that these old people have the most wisdom. They've done the most. They've had the most experiences.
It's like the honor. It's like honor too, right? They honor their elders. Like they're the what do you call it? The patriarch of the family, or you know what I mean? They run the family.
They
like,
get the comfortable chair.
yeah, they get the, you know,
Under
and
the
they're
table.
respected. Oh, what do you want to do, or what are we doing tonight? You know, and they're
Right,
respected.
like the silverback of a
their
fucking-
word
yeah.
matters. You know what I'm saying? And
It's not a burden.
And
to
it's the
hang out
same
with
way.
Grandpa.
It's the same way with wrestling. Okay, in America, when wrestlers get old, it's like, oh, get this old ass dude out of here. In Japan, man, when wrestlers are done here and can't walk no more or nothing, they can still go to Japan, Rob, and have a whole fucking career because they just want to see you come down the aisle.
right.
You know, when Andre the Giant retired here, he was literally on a walker, and he was still going over there wrestling. Because same thing with the Sheik, same thing with all of them. They just want to see you come down the aisle again. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you have a shitty match in there and you ain't doing fucking flips and hurricane rounders. Just come out there one more time. Let us look at you. Let us cheer for you. You know what I mean? And that's the way that country is celebrates age and the old people. And man, we could sure learn from that, right?
I agree. Let's play this video right here, the time lapse video. I want to show this video right here because this is really gonna bring age and time into perspective, because time is so fleeting. Like we feel like we have forever, but we don't. Like no matter what, in the blink of an eye, you are gonna be gone. No, not is this the one? Not that one. The time lapse video of the aging of a woman. In the blink of an eye, we're gonna be gone.
That's such a stale quote.
It is though. You know what I mean? I'm telling you.
Don't get that tattoo.
When you okay, so this is a time lapse video. I don't know if there's any way to like speed this up a little bit, but
No, just let it happen.
okay. This is
What do you think? We got some kind of fresh ass studio over here? Play this one in fast motion, Jeff.
Triple zoom in.
All right, so the average lifespan is 72 years. That's 864 months. We're talking 3,754 weeks. We're talking 26,298 days. Joe, we're talking 631,152 hours. We're talking 37,800,000 minutes. We live 2,272,098,672 seconds.
What the fuck?
Now your heart beats on average 60 to 100 beats per minute. So every heartbeat is like one of those seconds that you had, those 2 billion seconds, right? It's like a time bomb ticking down to your utter demise.
That's all your heartbeat is a
It's a
ticking bomb.
time bomb. You can feel it right now, like feel your chest.
Feel that tick?
It's those seconds slipping by right now. Every heartbeat is a second slipping you closer to the end of your time. Like a ticking time bomb.
So stale.
It's the stales, but we have to talk about it because we're talking about time, motherfucker.
Right, and time is beautiful and awful.
It's awful in a lot of ways.
No, I'm about to bring up the beautiful too in a minute when we're done seeing this baby get old.
I mean, you literally go from this cute, adorable baby to a young, vibrant human being, and then an old, frail. You know, like I hear little kids. I hear little kids, right? This is so harsh, man. But little kids are like, ooh, they're old. I don't want to be next to them. Like they don't have a filter. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, they're so old. Like, it's creepy, creeping them out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They don't want to be around old people, man. Not in Japan, though. They probably fight for the chair next to the old guy.
But it's like, man, you know, it's just hard. It's a hard pill to swallow.
It is sad. It's very sad, man. But you know what? Those little kids, again, Rob, is ignorance. When you feel that way about old people, you don't understand if you're lucky, you'll get to be old one day.
Right.
I mean, who's old and unlucky? You know, you got to be there. Look how many people we lose too soon, man.
Yeah. That's the truth. Like when you look at all the people that pass, like when I think about just in our lifetime, all the influential people in my life, the Bruce Lees, the John Ritters, the Michael Jacksons, the Princes, the fucking Andre the Giants that have passed in our lifetime. And you're like, what? They just fucking died?
Listen to this, bro.
Get out of here. Like, you know.
You remember in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a lot of wrestlers dying from like drugs and things like that.
Yeah.
It was like a big epidemic. You remember that, Jeeves?
I do.
Okay. Well, I wrote a list down one day of every wrestler that I wrestled. And when I say wrestled, I mean if I had any kind of physical show with them, you know? Like even if they just knocked me down or something.
Still counts.
It still counts, like I worked them, you know what I mean? I wrote a list of every wrestler I wrestled that died. And it was like 35. And I made this list, Rob, in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s.
Right, yeah.
And it was like 35. Can you imagine right now how many wrestlers I wrestled that died? Guys that were younger than me, guys that were my age, you know what I'm saying? And guys that were older than me. Life is like there's trap floors everywhere, man. And people can just die. The very first wrestling show we ever did at Psychopathic was called Stranglemania Live, right? Based off the Stranglemania DVD. It was a success, sold it out and everything. So we went to book our next show and we wanted to start a promotion. And we wanted to call it Hellfire Wrestling.
Okay.
So I hooked up with this guy named Dan Curtis that used to run a hotline here in Detroit. And all on tour, me and Joey would call the hotline every day and hear wrestling scoops. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Remember hotlines and
I
shit?
do.
So I started leaving them messages like, hey, you know, I'm on the road, I'm listening every day, good job, whatever, you know. We became close friends. We decided to start a promotion together. He was the one that called the wrestlers and everything and arranged it all, you know. And I had the ideas and the money, you know what I mean? And we ran that first show, Hellfire Wrestling, remember that?
Yep.
Sold it out. The next morning I went to call him. He was dead, bro.
Right.
He died that night out of nowhere, like he had an aneurysm and passed away. Rest in peace, Dan Curtis. You just don't see it coming, bro. It's like trap floors everywhere.
Right.
And the older you get in life, because I'm about to be 52 this month, the older you get in life, the more people you know that died, that are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me show you a video right quick. Can I show, oh, I gotta go in the order, Jeff. Can we show the wrestling? I pulled this match up, you guys, because the first wrestling show my stepdad ever took me to had the main event of Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant versus King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, and Bobby the Brain Heenan, okay, at Joe Louis Arena. And that's the match you're looking at right here. This is me as a kid, probably 14 years old, right? Watching this match. The first time I ever went to a wrestling match. And my stepdad brought me to this wrestling match. And this was the main event. And when I look at this now, Rob, Andre the Giant, dead. King Kong Bundy, dead. Big John Studd, dead. Bobby the Brain Heenan, dead. Everybody's dead except old ass Hulk Hogan.
I got that scar from King Kong Bundy. He left a permanent scar on me, a boxer scar.
That's another story. King Kong Bundy came to JCW and he had to lose to Evil Dead, who was Rob, as our world champion. And so I asked him to do the job and to lose to Rob, and he was mad about it, so I gave him an extra $500. And then he goes out to have the match, and the first thing he did was punch Rob in the face.
For real? Yeah, he just laid into me.
Broke your nose, right?
No, he hit me in the eye and blood started gushing down my face.
Oh, I thought he broke your nose.
No, and I almost passed out. Like he hit me on the side of my fucking face, like just clobbered the shit out of me.
Just an asshole, right? and then, you know, you ain't supposed to speak on the dead, so rest in peace, King Kong Bundy, but you did punch my brother.
Then he splashed me in the corner, like for real. I felt all my ribs cave in and all the air went on my chest. I almost passed out again.
So then, after we had that experience with him, we started telling the story because it was interesting.
But
you know,
then
King Kong Bundy beat Rob's ass.
Then he was
story.
after he tagged me those 2 times. Then it was fine. He was ginger the rest of the match.
He got his receipt.
But he
or
just
whatever.
he just had to get that receipt. You know what I mean? Like motherfucker.
Can't even do
So
it.
then, after the match, we were just telling the story, right, as we go through life. And one day he called and he's like, "Quit telling that story about me beating Rob's ass." We're like, "Well, you beat his ass."
You did.
We're just telling the truth.
Right.
I gave you $500 because you had to get pinned, man.
I
You didn't have to
remember,
beat him up.
yeah.
He don't know what the fuck's going on.
I remember Honky Tonk Man was like, man, he looked at because I took the mask off, I had blood gushing down my face. He was like, "Oh yeah, he got you." He meant that shit. He was like talking to me on the backstage.
And then Honky Tonk Man probably seen Bundy the same day. Was like, "Good job, bro."
Oh man.
Can I show another video right here, Rob?
Yeah, go ahead.
Check this video out. This ain't even that old. This is from Woodstock 99. Okay, that means this was 25 years ago.
Yeah, 25. Yep, like 25, 26.
This is a
years ago. Think about that, man. 26 years ago.
20
That's so crazy. There's like 25-year-olds right now. Like,
watching
what
this
the fuck?
that weren't even alive.
You're talking about 25 years ago? I wasn't even born yet.
Do you want me to go get her for you?
Nah, there ain't no chance of that.
Well, come on, don't be shy. You don't ask, you don't get.
No!
Suddenly you're a shy boy. Let me ask, are you with a boyfriend here?
No. Not with a boyfriend
Would you
anywhere
be
in the
interested
country.
in that guy? With the red hair, with the clown face?
No.
You really wouldn't? He doesn't have a lot of luck with women.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they can't see his true face.
No, I don't think we want to. Sadly, it was not a love match. Obviously, he lacked security. So this is his security. What your security, right?
The Insane Clown Posse is like the most hated band. We got a lot of enemies worldwide.
Are they trying to kill you or just, throw a pie in your
Well, I ain't
face?
gonna make no speculations on that. We come strapped, so to speak. As
Are you packing heat?
I ain't gonna speculate on that
Can
either.
I check?
It's against the law, no.
All right, just let me check. Is it fact? Has there been trouble today? You guys?
No, not so far. I mean, would anybody mess with this crew right here?
No.
No.
Oh, well, I found the anger because I was
Straight
looking
up,
for the
grew
anger
up
today.
on the street. You call them up and they break necks.
Right, so they don't know how to read her, right?
Yeah, you
Love
can.
that you've got the spirit of Woodstock. You've got it.
Young ass Rob on that
I
video.
know, it's crazy.
And he
man.
was old as fuck there.
I know, right? I was old back then. How the fuck am I now? You know what I mean?
let me flip the script for a second here. Make you think of something. All right? Because when you talk about time, Rob, the subject jumps everywhere.
It does, but I gotta. We're gonna get deeper into the fucking grander scheme of time in a minute. But go ahead.
No, maybe we should let you direct and I'll come back to this.
No, because you're probably gonna forget. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say this, all right? Okay. You lost somebody you love recently. We lost our mom. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. To look at a lifespan, if a lifespan is mad lucky, if somebody's super lucky, Jeeves, they will live to be 100. Agreed?
Agreed.
There takes a hell of a lot of luck to be 100.
Yep.
Okay. When you look at eternity, which is on the other side, okay? When you look at eternity, which is on the other side of life, right? Like if it's true what they say and you go to heaven and you're there for eternity, you cannot measure a lifespan, not even a 100-year lifespan, cannot be measured next to eternity. So if me and Rob's mom went to the other side, right, just a year ago,
Yeah.
and me and Rob lived to be another 30 years, okay, we are technically right behind our mom. We are basically showing up at the same exact time.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
Because a lifetime, when compared next to eternity, is like a grain of sand on a beach 1,000,000 miles wide and 1,000,000 miles long. Because it cannot be measured. There is no time in heaven. There is no time on the other side. You basically, this is hella deep. You basically imagine living with no time and no fear of death. The first thing I would imagine is there would be no jealousy. Because if somebody was athletically superior to you, or if somebody was trained in something that you weren't and you felt jealousy, you could just take that training.
Yep.
There's nothing but time.
Right.
Oh, he's a doctor, fuck that.
You
Let me
got
go
time
become
to
a
do
doctor
anything.
right quick.
Right.
You could just learn to be a doctor. You want to learn Kung Fu, you can learn all the Kung Fu. There's no jealousy because you got time to do anything you fucking want.
Yep.
Because there is no time. Would there even be clocks? What is the point when it's forever? How do you even manage what time it is when it's eternal? So if my mom just entered eternity, right? And me and Rob show up 40 years later, what is that next to eternity?
Right. It's a blink of an eye.
It's a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
It's like we show up at the same exact time.
Right.
All of us in the last 300 years are basically showing up at the same exact time.
Now try to. That's really deep.
That is super deep.
Try to imagine if we could live forever on Earth, would you want to?
Depends if it hurts.
Like, would you want to really? Like, I'm talking about when
That's
you
what
get
I'm saying.
when
like,
you get to the point where you experienced everything. Like, let's say 200 years from now, you're still here. Would you really want to keep going?
no, because I'd lose everybody.
Yeah.
Always losing everybody. It's already the hardest thing about getting old is loss. All the pets you lose, all the dogs you lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's so painful. And losing people you love, and the older you get, the more people you lose. You know what I'm saying? And man, if I was here 100 years from now and none of you were here anymore,
That'd be nuts.
and it was all new ninjas in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think about the concept of hell, right? Somebody lived their life, murdered somebody, and went to hell, right? So the sentence is eternal burning in hell for eternity. Don't it seem like after a while they would even forget why you're there? Like, you've been burning for eternity, Rob.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Like, I don't believe in hell because that punishment is so fucking ridiculous.
yeah.
Why even make a human being?
There's some people, we're getting off on a whole nother tangent. But there's some people that think this is hell, where we're at right now.
Right. It's just as a trial
It
period.
kind of makes sense to me a little bit sometimes. I'm like,
Right.
it does feel a little like
But
hell.
I don't believe that a God, at least the one I believe in, would not send people to eternity in hell. Eternity is so fucking long.
It's
All right,
forever.
let's
It's
get-
literally forever.
Let's get back on the time subject. Okay, so Earth basically was formed 4.5 billion years ago. Before that, when you're talking about the Big Bang Theory, right? When the Big Bang Theory happened, the formation of our entire universe, everything we know, right? That we can see with the naked eye, the observable universe, all happening from the Big Bang. That's like hundreds and trillions of years ago where that took place, right? Humans have only been around for 200,000 years, right? Humans on the planet, 200,000 years. If you look at all of fucking existence that we know of, starting with the Big Bang all the way to right now, we just got here. Like,
Yeah.
not even a second. Like,
How
if-
long the planet's
if you were
been
to-
here.
If you were to lay it all out on a time graph,
The dinosaurs,
you know what I mean?
everything.
Everything that we know, all of human existence, would be like in the last second of that fucking giant timeline.
So if we had a chart for how long the planet's been here,
It would be in the last like 7
humans
meters.
just showed up at the very end,
Yeah, no.
last page.
We're brand new.
I want to. Can you play that video? The new video. This is the scale, the time video. I want to show this.
Bang.
These guys went out into the desert.
Time begins
And
as the
laid
universe
out
expands into
The
existence.
timeline of the beginning of the Big Bang
This
Theory,
expansion
Let's hear
cools
it.
energy into matter.
all the way to.
Clouds of simple atoms condense to form stars.
In their cores, atoms fuse into new elements.
And when fusion ends, the enriched matter returns to the cosmos. Raw material for future worlds.
Over the eons, 100 billion stars gather into each galaxy. And the universe is home to 200 billion galaxies.
In one, our sun and planets form. As Earth cools, rain fills oceans.
Atoms forged in ancient stars bond into molecules.
One starts to copy itself. Life begins.
It evolves to live off light. And that fills our air with oxygen.
Then, a powerful new kind of cell is born. From it, life evolves into endless forms.
It moves onto land, grows large, but disaster strikes. Small mammals emerge into a world left to them.
They evolve to be larger, smarter, to stand up and become us.
That timeline that they have laid out there is like 8 miles long. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they're trying to show like how we just fucking got here, like the whole of existence, like how we just got here.
So if we came at the last minute, Rob, couldn't something more superior than us show up?
What do you mean, like later?
No, I mean, like, okay, if they're saying we came from monkeys or whatever, is that what they were saying?
Yeah, well, like what?
They're full of shit.
Like, what are we gonna evolve into 200,000 years from now if we're still around?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. You wouldn't even recognize it.
But it's
Like, if
already
you-
happening. Like, we don't have, look at how our baby toe is going away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you could transport 200,000 years in the future and humans were still around alive, it would be crazy. You wouldn't even be able to fathom what you're looking at.
I don't think we came from apes and all that, though. I'm not buying that.
All right, one of the okay, before we get more into that, so the light that you're seeing from stars, right, is actually in the past.
You're looking at the past.
Like the light from the sun is actually 8 minutes old. By the time you see that light from the sun, it's actually from 8 minutes ago. The nearest star outside of that, the nearest star outside of the sun, that light that you're looking at is 4 years old. It took 4 years traveling at the speed
That
of light.
sun might have
for that
burnt
light
out.
to get to you.
That star might have burnt out, right?
Yeah, it could have.
And we don't even know because we're still looking at the shine. By the time that shine got here, it took 4 years. So you're looking into the past when you look at all those stars.
Yep.
So it takes 1/20th of a second for your brain to process what you're even looking at. So technically, everything that we're seeing is actually in the past already. Even you looking at me right now talking, because it takes that split second for your mind to process the information, it's technically you're looking at everything in the past.
And even though why I'm saying this right now and you're hearing it right now, it's in the past right now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm done saying it, so it's in the past. Everything you say is in the past by the time it comes out of your face. Right?
Yeah. So the oldest living whale, okay, this is another just a factoid. The oldest living whale is over 200 years old. It was around when Abraham Lincoln was around.
That's pretty fucking fresh.
So there's still a living mammal on this planet that was around back when Abraham Lincoln was alive.
That's so bomb ass.
And they have like 200, some of these whales have like 200-year-old spears still lodged in the side of them from like, people throwing spears at them trying to kill them.
How fucking mind-boggling is that? What about those tortoises, Rob? Do they get old too?
Yeah, the tortoises live like 180 to 100 years longer, right? Actually, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but those fucking whales, man, I really got a fascination with whales. I wish we could talk about a whale subject on an episode. Because, brother, whales, they've been around swimming when Abraham Lincoln was chilling, right?
Yep.
And they're still swimming now, right? And they have no fear that we know of. Sometimes whales wash up on the beach with a giant bite taken out of them, though, Rob.
What did that?
We don't know what did it.
Yeah.
So maybe whales know about some shit we don't know about, and they're afraid of them. But for the most part, whales have no fear. They're just the giantest thing on the planet.
Yep.
And the real space is out in the ocean. And whales, anyway, that's off the subject.
All right, now look, okay, this is what I learned, and I'm gonna have a hard time explaining this because I'm not the most intelligent ninja on the planet. So this even trips me out. But Einstein came up with the theory of relativity, okay? And what the theory of, and this is proven to be factual. Now this is gonna fucking maybe flip your wig.
So it's not a
The theory of relativity states the faster you move away from somebody that's stationary, the slower time moves for you and the quicker it moves for them. So if you had a ninja traveling at the speed of light that basically like jetted across our galaxy and came back in 2.5 years, 2.5 years would have passed for that ninja that's flying through space, but like 17 years would have passed for people back on Earth. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that guy tried to explain that to me. That
Okay.
guy that's super smart. What's his name? I was on a podcast with him.
Right.
Somebody in the chat room will know. The black guy who's crazy fucking smart.
So
Nobody knows?
you talk about Neil?
Yes.
Neil
deGrasse
deGrasse
Tyson. Yes.
Yeah. Talking about him?
He was saying what you're saying.
You were on his podcast?
No, I just was on a podcast with him.
Oh, that's fucking
That's
dope.
hella dope.
He came on and he started talking about.
He has a podcast called Star Talk. I actually watch it all the time. Like,
He came on and he started talking about. He basically schooled the shit out of me.
right.
He came on and started talking about. We were talking about, I think, time and how you can't change time. You can't go back in time or anything. And he said time is all in the space. They can go back in time totally.
Yeah, so like, all right, this is what tripped me out, because it's like, how could that fucking be? Where time moves differently for two people, how can time move differently? Like, how is that even possible? So basically, the way it's explained is we look at time, think of like a movie, like frames of a movie, you know, like a movie reel, okay? Or somebody like a child writing, right? They're drawing a picture. Like, let's just say it's somebody walking, like you walking. So that picture's done, right? And then the next second they're drawing the person walking. So like a flip book, you can flip it and you see somebody moving, right? And that's like how we perceive time, is like there is no past because it already happened, it doesn't exist. There really is no future because we haven't got there yet.
There's only the current.
There's only the current, right? That's how we perceive time, and we're comfortable with that. Our feeble human brains are comfortable with that assumption. In actuality, that's not how time works. Time, you might not be able to pick this up, but time is like a block of those pictures, right? So there's like, it's not just one drawing. All the drawings have already been done, right? So this block, this stack of paper, all the drawings are already done all the way through, right? And you don't like everybody's perception of their time are all correct. So when a spaceship leaves out traveling at the speed of light, even though time's passing faster for them than it is for you, your perception of time are both correct, but you're not on the same paper. You get what I'm saying? Like, you might be on the paper sitting back on Earth, but they might be fucking down here somewhere on this paper because time is flowing different for them. And it's so hard to conceive.
So wait a minute. If somebody goes out into space, Rob,
Yeah.
they're going to grow faster or older, slower or faster than me?
Their time, it moves slower for them.
They age slower than.
They age slower than us.
They could live longer than, like I could get old, they'll come back and be young.
If you left on a ship, right? And this has been proven by science, like, to be true.
Fuck science, I don't buy it.
All right, anyway, check it out. If you left on a ship traveling as fast as light, right? And you traveled out for like 4 years, you could come back and JJ and Ruby would be the same age as you. You know what I mean?
I just don't buy that. That's what he was saying.
Faster for them.
That's what he was
true,
saying.
Though. They've done tests.
Man, they ain't tested nothing. They haven't got anybody to be able to travel light years yet, right?
They've done experiments, just not on that grand scale, but they've done experiments. Like, the things that affect it is motion, velocity, and gravity. So they've been able to take stuff out, like coming close to other planets and bringing it back, and they verified time is moving slower for that object, is what I'm saying. Like, and it might only be like a couple seconds or whatever, but they verified it moves slower. Like, this is all verified science.
Yeah, but when the human being is involved, that's when everything changes, Rob, because there's a soul in our body. There's a soul in our body, okay? They can explain away how the human body works, but they can't explain why the heart keeps ticking. There's a soul. There's supernatural elements to being alive.
So there's some that believe everything is pre-written, like because we're in a frozen block of reality of our time. That's how you can have somebody moving faster, time's moving faster than them that is for you, because everything is already written and it's all preordained. Like there is the illusion of like us having free will and all that is all an illusion.
Yep.
Which to me goes back, and this is something that I strongly believe in. We're not going to go deep into it because it's a whole nother subject, but the simulated reality theory. Like we're all programmed running on a how can time move faster for some and slower for others?
That's what I can't understand, man.
You can't understand it because it's outside of human understanding. You get what I'm saying? Let me fuck you up with this. The Big Bang Theory, right? Where did that rock come from that blew up? Okay? We as humans, our perception of time cannot perceive something always being. It just was always there. Like the idea that something was always there
is not true.
It didn't have a beginning. You get what I'm saying? Like everything that we know has a beginning and an end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How could something always be there?
But it had to have always been there because it just doesn't poof out of thin air. But what I'm saying is our human minds, our feeble fucking human minds can't perceive, can't even comprehend the notion of something always being there. Like it had no beginning because we have a beginning. Everything that we know in our think about this. We're just on a rock in the middle of fucking space, and all we perceive is everything we've ever known throughout human history. We just fucking got here, mind you. All that we know, everything that we know, all life has a beginning and an end. Everything has a beginning and an end. The planet formed out of the Big Bang Theory. Everything has a beginning and an end. You get what I'm saying? You can't even perceive it. The same way you can't perceive time moving any differently than what we perceive it as, which is one frame at a time, like a movie.
So they can
clicking.
make a time machine eventually.
Yeah, they could make a time machine. You know, you want to go forward in time? Yeah, you take off at crazy velocities and come back. I don't know if you're going to be able to get back in time, but you could definitely go forward in time.
I would say so far they figured out like the time arrow, we can go forward, but they haven't figured out how to turn it backwards.
That is outside of my scope. Like I haven't done enough research on that. I'm only trying to describe the whole thing.
That's the only way we can perceive it.
Yeah, I'm only trying to describe the whole thing that the faster you move through space, those ninjas that are on Earth that aren't moving, that are just chilling, if you're flying through space at the speed of light, time moves slower for you than it does for the people at. And the only way that's possible is if it's the block of time technology, where instead of one paper at a time, you're now going at a diagonal or some shit, like, you know, through the block of time. Because how can time move differently from, it can't move the same for two people where times move differently. There's no way the single sheet of paper at a time would work with that. It's broken. There's no way it can happen. So anyway, that shit, again, and I hate keeping reiterating this, but it makes me think that maybe this is all preordained. Maybe this is all set. We're in a simulated reality that's just operating on a simulated program.
If we are, who cares?
Okay, well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we are, what's it really matter? Ned still feels crazy good. You know what I mean? Square pizza is really fucking delicious. Wrestling's mad fun, and making music feels supernatural. So who cares? You know what I mean?
But with the knowledge of time, right? One thing is certain: the total reality, that the inevitable conclusion that the day is going to come to an end. So will the planet come to an end. So will the universe come to an end. So will everything come to an end.
There's
because of time.
There's one guarantee
that we know of, like the reality that we know around us.
There's one guarantee in life, okay? Change. That's a guarantee. Some things may take longer than others to change, but change it will. Everything about your life. I remember when my kids were young, right? And I was had my young kids on my lap. I didn't want that to ever change. You get what I mean? I thought, man, it'd be so great to have this forever. Nothing stays forever. Nope. And now that they're grown, I like it better. You know what I'm saying? Because I can have conversations with my kids and shit, you know? But I'm saying nothing stays forever. Change it because of time. That giant iron ball keeps rolling and everything will change. In 100 years, everybody that's on this planet right now, all of us, all across the globe, including over the ice wall, all of that, it'll be all new ninjas, Rob. We'll all be gone.
Yeah.
In 125 years. Because how old was that ninja?
What ninja?
The oldest ninja on Earth.
Oh, he's 116 years old.
He's the only one fucking all this up. In 120 years.
He probably doesn't remember anyway. He's too old.
In 120 years, this planet, everybody, your boys, your family, all the stars you like, the music you like, the athletes you watch, everybody, even the young kids, all of them will be gone in 120 years, and it'll be all new life on this planet. Some of them might be living in the same houses we're living in, working out of the same buildings, but everybody will be flush gone. Everybody. And it'll be completely new ninjas that haven't even been born yet in just 120 years.
And for them, most of them, like learning about the past is just a stale subject in school. They don't want to know nothing about it.
That's what you are, is a stale subject in school.
Right? You know what I mean? If you made your mark.
Yeah.
And even them, 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, even the JFK assassination, even 9/11 will probably be all but forgotten. Just written somewhere
because
in some computer bank that nobody even looks at.
I'll tell you why.
About.
You know how you said humans just got here?
Yeah.
Okay. As we go through life, history continues to pile on.
Yeah, more and more shit to remember.
Remember when Tupac and Biggie were the only rappers to ever get shot and die?
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Now there's so many.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Time keeps going. History gets longer and longer, and things become that were the only thing there are now accompanied by 7 other things, and soon to be 20 other things. So everything becomes more and more irrelevant. So people always say, I just want to leave my mark. I just want to make my mark on the planet. So when I'm gone, people remember. What does that really do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the longer time goes, the more they're going to be forced to remember from the past. And some of that information is just going to get dumped. And even though you remembered, what does it matter? You're not there. Nobody's hanging with Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Benjamin Franklin isn't going to red carpets. He's not eating lavish meals.
Like, think about...
He's gone. And even though we say his name with admiration, what does that matter to him?
Think about,
he's
like...
dead.
Yeah, think about Abraham Lincoln, right? As pivotal as he is as a figure in history, it's like mandatory you learn about him. Nobody fucking knows him.
Or what he was really like.
Nobody is still alive that hung out with him.
He might have farted all the time. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Blue ass.
You only know his accomplishments. You don't even know him. You know what I mean? And then what you do know is just like factoids about stuff that he did. You know what I mean? But it's like all that is gone, is already starting to be erased. You know what I mean? Even now. Like,
I was thinking
and it
about,
just happened. Joe, the oldest whale is still alive that when Abraham, so it's not something that was crazy long ago, but already it's like forgotten or being forgotten about, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. It's already ebbing into nothingness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And look at Christopher Columbus, right? We were born and raised like he's some historical figure. He's damn near irrelevant now. We've already learned everything he taught us was bullshit. Everything we thought he discovered, he hadn't discovered.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he's becoming less and less important. As time goes on, history continues to pile up. you know? And humans have only been here for a minute, you know? I used to think about this all the time, like celebrities and who really has a chance of being remembered forever, right? Let's see. Maybe the Beatles, because they were the first.
They were like the first mega group.
George Washington was the first president, so he'll probably always be the first president, right? Yep. You can't take that away from him.
I'm telling you, even that's gonna get forgotten about.
You think?
Yes.
I mean, of course, eventually.
I'm talking
when a rock hits the earth and we all die.
I'm talking about 2,000 years from now. Nobody's gonna remember
because there'll probably be America won't even be here no more to be some new global thing or something.
Like the history that we're focused on, the main history is recent history. You know, you're talking about Abraham Lincoln. That's all relatively recent.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
People aren't gonna focus on. It's just going to be a factoid.
So much is going to have happened that that's not even going to be.
It's like if you look it up, like for part of your, you know, class homework, who was the first president of the United States? There probably won't even be a United States 2,000 years.
That's what I'm saying. I was just going to say that. They're probably going to merge countries and be like, now we're all called super fresh land.
Right. And
you know what I mean?
Nobody's going to
give a fuck. So then who's going to know what the president was?
They're not going to give a fuck about it.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not going
to know who the first president was of America. America is old as fuck. It ain't even around. It's like, what is America? Is that an old country used to exist?
They probably won't even remember the name America.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. Time washes everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And can you conceive it? Time washes out everything. So what is the importance of leaving your mark? What is the importance? I get it. If you could leave your mark for the people that you love around you, so that if you could leave them with something or you know what I'm saying? That's all important. Love is important. Crazy important. The people around you, family, that's important. But leaving your mark on the world is almost pointless. Jeeves.
It's selfish.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not pointless from a spiritual standpoint, right? I just want to get that out there, like the meaning of life type thing. Like, what is the meaning of our time here on the planet? So
we talked about this, making people happy.
Yeah, and there's a spiritual like worth, possibly, if you believe in that, to your time spent on this planet. You know, and then what you were talking about how you go on to heaven, eternity, the notion of eternity, even though it's probably nothing like what we think it is. You know, it's not like I don't foresee. That's a whole another subject, but I don't foresee Shangri-La or heaven being like this. Like where we are now, you know what I mean?
Oh man, that was horrible.
Yeah, you know, you're probably like a ball of energy floating around.
I agree. We're probably
like
not in a body.
Like just content with being, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just a ball of light or a piece of light and shit and merging with other lights and shit. Yeah, I get it. I'm okay with that too, though.
All right, I wanted to.
I don't want no stale ass, hurting ass body.
I want to show this time lapse of the future of the planet. This is the last video. This is just like a time lapse of what's going to happen to Earth as time goes on, like in the next millions of years.
Just throw a tomato against the wall. You see what's going to happen to Earth.
The whole notion that
the
our planet is not going to
ended.
You know what I mean?
What we do
like
now,
the passage of time,
and in the next few years, will profoundly affect the next few thousand years. The only conditions modern humans have ever known so far are changing, and changing fast.
Nothing stays the same on this planet. Everything changes. The Earth is going into one of these jumps, and you don't know what is going to be on the other side of those jumps. The Earth is always jumping. Things move on this planet. Things are not still. Everything is turning.
compared to the length of time on the Earth to the planet itself, we only get to be here for a split second anyway. You get what I mean, man?
Yeah, 100%. Like you look at the existence of life.
It's like a 3-minute ride at the amusement park.
How much time has even passed since the formation of the Earth? Like we just got here, then it's over.
It's like a waiting in line and getting on a ride at the amusement park. You go 3 minutes on a roller coaster, that's what your life is like.
As it begins to run out of fuel, the sun
You know what I think of it as? It's like seeing the amusement park, opening your eyes, seeing the amusement park for a second, and you're already
cause its outer layers to expand.
You didn't even get to take a step toward it. It's already over.
Man, let me Rob, you got the ultra negative mind there.
That's pessimistic.
You just opened your eyes and you're
talking
closing
all
them
that
already.
freshness about The Secret last week. You are some old.
Rob got dark.
We're all born to die. Let me show this piece of footage. This is me wrestling as Corporal Daryl Daniels. Okay, I was a fresh 19 when this footage was taken. So that was a smooth 20 years ago.
How many 20s have we got, Joe?
That's not me, by the way.
You're talking about a 20 piece?
That's not.
How many of those we got?
Corporal Daryl Daniels.
My knees worked so good back then. I was a 19-year-old boy, Jeeves, your age.
Oh, you're saying this is 20 years ago?
I was just kidding.
How long ago was this? This is longer than
I was 19, so what was that, like 40 years ago? This guy right here, Scott the Rock Stevens, dead. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so awful, man.
All right, this opinion of Scott the Rock since he lost the Northern States
We're definitely
title.
taking a hit on our
I want to tell you that this
No, man, no.
There's no way to avoid it when you're talking about
Rookie of the
time,
Year
man.
with a 7-2
There's
record.
no way.
And I
Look at that fresh mohawk I had,
that
though.
This man is going to be back, no question about it.
I remember during this match, Rob,
and I think he'll be
I
coming back
didn't
for
know
that
how to do a
Northern States
reversal.
heavyweight
So when he
title.
had my arm behind my back, he squeezed my hand and he was like, reverse it. And I didn't do nothing. He kept saying reverse it. I didn't do nothing. When we got to the back, he was like, why didn't you reverse it? I was like, I couldn't hear you. I have bad hearing. I lied, Rob. My hearing was perfect back then.
I guess
Do you have any books in your office?
He's gone to the corner.
Yeah.
Can you grab me a book in there?
The corner of Corporal Daryl Daniels, and this is sudden to me. I don't understand.
Yes.
I'll have to find out when the coach returns.
That's Coach Kurt.
What this is all about.
He was the promoter. He wanted to call me Bazooka Joe Rap because I started rapping. He was like, let's call you Bazooka Joe Rap. I suppose I should have did it. It would have got me over like John Cena. He would have been stealing his gimmick from me.
By Scott the Rock Stevens.
19 years old, Rob.
Over there clapping after that maneuver, and you would think that perhaps maybe he's in the corner of Scott the Rock. I think he is.
Why? It's fresh.
It is fresh, but man, it's so young.
Let's get back to the darkness.
Look, we're almost out of time. Is there anything else you want to say? Because I got a couple things I want to talk
Yes,
about.
I got more footage. I think is important.
Okay. But let me just say this so we can end it on a more positive note.
We're not out of time yet.
Time, listen.
We still got a half hour.
Time is like this book, okay? Incidentally enough, this is a book on Prince's life, okay? Time is like this fucking book right here. This is your life right here. But what it's really like is this. That's how fast you go through it. It's almost like you're skipping whole chapters, like, and the next second you know you're an old man chilling, like in a blink of an eye.
We got to get Rob out of here, man.
Tell me I'm lying.
No, it is, but quit pointing it out.
Tell me I'm lying. It's like fucking flipping whole sections of the book. And the next thing you know, you're like, what the fuck happened to all my fucking time?
Check this out. This next footage I want to show you right quick is ICP's very first concert. This is at a venue called Todd's in Detroit. And we opened up for like a metal band, I believe. And this is our first concert ever. And Again, I was 19, I believe, and Joey was 17, and John was my age, 19. Our look wasn't quite down yet. Look at Joey's tattoo-less body.
Young thugs.
It's just so crazy. You know how many people we drew? 17.
Back then, though, it was amazing. I was like, oh.
We knew we drew 17 people because when you came to the venue, you had to say which band you came to see.
Yep.
The other band was called Cold as Life. And you had to say which band you came to see, and $1 went to them.
But that's not where the 17 came from.
No.
You know what? I always see 17 all the fucking time.
Right. Because it's
everywhere.
It's important.
It's in every movie almost. At some point, the 17 comes up in almost every movie I watch.
The 17 is epic. Let me show another piece of footage. This is us a few years after what you just saw, but we were young chickens nonetheless, young chicks. This is us in the studio, recording at Mike Clark's studio, doing the damn thizang. Just to look at us as young.
Try to play me out.
Old, gray, and fat.
Got my camera working now.
I believe we were working on the Ringmaster album.
This is awesome. What the fuck? I don't think I've seen this footage ever.
Nope, Ringmaster was already out, I guess. This is Riddlebox. There's Joey's drawings.
Wow. That's crazy.
You got young Mike was.
Make something fresh.
Make something. I can only imagine how much time you guys spend in there. I remember spending hours and hours chilling in that room sometimes. You guys,
A great deal of our time on this planet was spent in the studio.
Especially that room.
You know what I always used to think? Imagine if aliens who communicated but telepathically, Rob. Like they didn't talk.
Yeah.
They just always communicated telepathically. Imagine if they were studying us in the studio. They would be like, what are they doing?
Blinded by the noise.
What purposes?
What purposes? Because you're in there for days upon days, and you don't actually make anything you can hold. You know what I mean?
Especially if they have no concept or no rhythm. They don't know music.
Of sound and music.
Like
you'd be like, what the fuck are they doing in there?
Yeah, they have no rhythm, right? So they're like, what are they fucking doing?
If they came from a musicless planet.
They're working on different ways to speak? Like, what's going on? Like, what is happening, yo?
Okay, I got a little bit more freshness for you. This is us backstage at a concert. You may have seen this before, some of you ninjas. This is us at St. Andrew's Hall. Once again, young, dumb, and full of cum. Having fun.
I got enough, man. My fucking pockets are full of this shit, dog. Man, just like D-Rock, man. It doesn't matter if that shit falls off. Bro, it'll be all glitter and shit. It'll just be falling out. Be like crazy. How do you guys sound, man?
That's St. Andrew's Hall, right? You said?
Yep.
That's the top level of St. Andrew's.
There's Mike Clark again.
We used to be bouncers at that club, doing security. and there was 3 floors. One was all rap. The top floor would be like disco, and the bottom floor would be rock.
It was called 3 Floors of Fun.
And so you'd have 3 different types of crowds all mixing, drinking, and it would just be volatile. There'd just be fights every night, like all these fights would break out.
Did you get some stuff backstage or behind the stage?
Wow, such a trip, right?
Yeah, it is, man. It's like a time machine going back in the time. I'm taking a look at that.
Right on your fucking head, too, with a flying side transaction. Oh, from the install. You're gonna have to do a long ass joke because I'm
Wow, that was my girlfriend at the time, Lori.
That's me more time to more flips before I do like that.
It's crazy too to think about like the first shows. Like, you know, there's still an excitement every time you do a show, but like the first shows, like were just so new. Everything was so new.
It's such a powerful experience standing up on stage like that. Ah, and to this day, I get flushed with butterflies before we go on. You know, lately we've been doing JCW, right? I'll be calm, cool as a pickle, Jeeves, all during JCW. Yeah. And the minute the show ends and it's time for me to perform, the butterflies start coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Jeeves, do we got any comments you would like to share with us? Don't mean to call you by surprise there, but...
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
We've got people watching on Twitch, YouTube, and we want to thank everybody. We're getting near the end of the show here, and let's see if there's any comments from the people watching.
One of the good comments we got from way earlier in the show was when Rob was talking about, I don't do social medias. Everybody in the chat agreed Rob is living life the best out of us 3. That was a big one tonight.
You know, I had Facebook for a while, and it caused nothing but grief.
Yeah, people are so savage, man.
Like I had Facebook for like a year, and I was like, I hate this. Like one day I finally was like looking at it, and I was like, I hate it, and I just deleted it. Not only the just drama that it was causing, but it was also the ego of it, like sharing everything you love, like wanting people to see it, like wanting, you know, creating an illusion that you're living this great life and stuff. Just the whole thing about it, it just irked me.
Well, for me, man, it's fun because I can send clips to Joey. I can send clips to my kids. I can send clips, you know what I'm saying, when I come across something fresh.
I can do that too through email.
Yeah, but, you know, yeah. Remember, I'm always trying to tell you to get an Instagram so I can send you stuff.
Yeah, and I keep telling you no. I don't want to get sucked into an Instagram account. I really don't. Yeah.
Any more comments there from Peanut Gallery?
Oh, yeah, no. Another big one was, when things are going good for you, right? Like you're enjoying life, like you have no time, right? But like we were talking about earlier, but when it's going bad, you have all the time in the world. It's because you're not enjoying it, you're not living in the moment, so you're seeing it as you're passing through it instead of just experiencing it and going through it. You know what I mean?
Think about this. Is there ever a good time for death?
Oh, shit.
You know? Like, is there ever a good time?
I think so.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is there ever a good time to bring up staleness? You know, like if you got an argument to pick with somebody, right? When is a good time? Nobody wants to ever hear staleness.
Right.
When is a good time to give somebody bad news?
I think there's a good time for death, like when you're done with life, you know? Like there's ninjas like our mom was like that a lot, where she was just like ready
to go.
You know what I mean? Like ready to go to heaven, like ready to move on, ready to transition. She did not fear death at all, and she looked at. I not even exaggerating. She was happy about it. Like she was like I don't know if happy is the word. Just content and at peace with the fact that she was moving on.
Yeah, I saw it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you talk to her,
special though.
And she's like, "Don't be sad for me." You know what I mean? I'm good. You know what I mean?
Mom had full faith, and that's what's important. People don't understand how important faith is, man. if you see somebody with faith and you don't have faith or belief in anything like that, man, don't try to take away that person's shine, man. If somebody has faith, let them have it, because faith is a wonderful thing. It provides hope. It provides, as we talk about time and how short and insignificant our lives actually are, right? On the grand scale, next to eternity or 200,000 years or whatever's going on, our lives are just meaningless and they're nothing. They're like a germ, all right? But it's each of our opportunity to experience and to shine and to be happy. And faith is a wonderful thing, because maybe there is that on the other side. Maybe there is that eternity. Maybe there is that second form of life. Maybe this really is the trial phase, to see who qualifies to go. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if we go, maybe that's the real existence. Maybe this is just a 100-year little test run.
All right.
You know what I mean? Next to an eternity of happiness, It's nice to believe in something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to have faith and believe in something on the other side. And I also feel it's harmless. There's no harm to that. There's no harm to believing in that, Rob.
Yeah. No, let me just, can I just end the show and try to end the show on a more positive tip? Because it's been a lot of doom and gloom here today. No way to avoid it when you're talking about time. But remember what we talked about when we were saying fill your time with experiences. The more experiences you have, the more full your life, you perceive your life to be. When you look back and can remember all the things you did in that year that stood out, that were different, the more filled your life will be, the slower time will be. And in my opinion, the more worth your life will have, because to me, a large part of the meaning of life is to have as many experiences as you can have so that you can find your way spiritually. And the way to do that is to experience as many different things as you can, to see life and all that it has to offer. And then your time will be full. Your book of life at the end will be a thick fucking book of all the shit that you've accomplished, all the things you've done. And to me, that makes your time here worthwhile. But don't create the illusion that you're going to live forever, because you're not. So you have to meditate on that too. Meditate even on your own life, the fact that you're going to pass one day, so you're ready when that time comes.
I'm not afraid to die.
Yeah.
I'm like Mom.
I'm afraid to suffer.
Me too. I just don't want to hurt. I was just going to say that.
I'm not afraid to die either.
But man, if I died right now, the first thing I'd do would be hug God. I would be like, thank you for that awesome blessing. Because I know I had a special life, a blessed life, and I'm grateful for it. My kids are healthy. You know what I'm saying? I love my girl. You know what I mean? My girl loves me. I love my brother. You know what I mean? I love Joey, Billy. These guys love me. Yep. We got it good, Ram.
But don't get stuck on the same page. Like, there's a brainwashing going on. You can enjoy a video game. You can enjoy social media. Don't get sucked into it where you're doing it day in and day out, the same thing, where you're stuck on the same page. Because then when you're looking back, your 10 years will seem like one day, because you were stuck on social media the whole time or playing video games the whole time. You got to vary it up, man. You got to have experiences. You got to live your fucking life. Like, I believe we were put here for a reason. What that reason is, I can't say for sure, but we all got to find our way and find out why.
I know why we were put here.
Utilizing the time that we have.
We were put here to keep it going. So for all you moms out there and all you fathers that are good fathers, right? You guys don't understand what heroes you are. You don't understand what epic heroes you are. Because we can sit here and be doctors, lawyers, engineers, consultants, fucking teachers, professors, whatever. But listen, the only thing we know for sure about human life, the only thing we know we're supposed to do, Jeeves, without question, no matter what our religion, no matter what anything, where we're from, right? The only thing we know for sure we're supposed to do is keep it going. Have babies. Raise those babies as best you can. If you do that, you're a fucking hero. Everything you do elsewhere is always up for debate. All that job sucks. All those people, this and that. All whatever you do with the rest of your time is up to you. The only thing we know we're supposed to do, Rob, is keep it moving, right?
That's right.
Have a baby, raise that baby as best you can, because you were given the chance to sit on this dirt ball. You were given a chance to ride the ride that is life. Okay? So now you got to give somebody else that chance. And you got to make sure they're safe and raise them right. And if your parents fucked up raising you, don't fuck up raising them. That's the only thing we know we're supposed to do. The rest is all purely speculation.
Correct. So, hey, we appreciate y'all spending some of your fucking time, some of those seconds on your heart, joining us tonight to join us on this discussion on time. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next week where we'll talk about another subject that hopefully won't be as grim as this one.
And next week, we'll get here like this.
It really will in 2 seconds.
So we'll see you in a second.
We'll see you in 2 seconds.